enslaved black boy, right? And so I think about this murder that happened, and I'm like, what is my responsibility? Who am I, right? Because I'm not, to my knowledge, I'm not directly related to the black person. I'm descended from the white one, and so if I'm asking these questions, and like, it was a whole thing. I don't know how many months this thing happened, just like processing this, downloading thing. I still don't have an answer, and it's more of a contemplative thing, but it has helped me to get closer to the answer. And so on my side mission while in New York for this Black Portraitors Conference, I'm like, all right, let me go head on up to Poughkeepsie and take a train, a little day trip. I ended up staying overnight. And so I have a video to share from the first day. So this is me outside of the Hyde Park Dutch Reformed Church, which is where my ancestors lie. And I'll just show you like this little Instagram video. Home of my ancestors. And I'm here, and it's actually like kind of emotional. Actually very, very emotional. Yeah, so apparently the Stoutenbergs, who like I'm descended from, are like the first family. Because everybody wants to be the first of Hyde Park and stuff. But this is a thing. We're gonna find some grave sites. And it's the first day of Scorpio season, so it's only fitting. I'm Scorpio. Like quadruple. That was like 30 seconds later. Can't really explain it. I'm not a dad. I'm not a guy's dad. But like, still, like I'm currently what is it? Third great grandmother. I can't tell you what year.
Yeah, but like I'm in upstate New York, so I'll figure out a way to process all this. There's some more people, but like I am like I don't know the way that I'm processing it, right? Because like I came from this woman's head, is that like I'm literally sitting on top of myself. It's kind of meta. It's kind of meta, if that makes sense. Like I'm here, like I'm on top of this, but like I'm also like beneath the ground as well. Like my DNA is on the ground, like it's in it. So fucking for me, y'all. Anyway, my last adventure, I went to Mississippi to present at a conference. Ended up going to Montgomery, Alabama. Found a great granny's gun and got bit by a German Shepherd, whose ancestors, I'm pretty sure, were the same dogs that were fighting black people in the streets during the Civil Rights Movement. So basically, I am continuing to follow that same gun, and it's taking me to New York.
This was before the
so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so this was like like we at the airport, like heading to New York, like not even knowing what's gonna happen. So like as you can see, that was me sobbing like on top of like my third, fourth grade granny's grave. I call her Katie Van B. She stays with me all the time because I feel like my black is retired. That has been quite an adventure. And so does anybody have any questions or comments at this point? We're good? Okay. And so that was me at the Hyde Park Dutch Reformed Church. You know, sobbing and everything. And And so at that moment, because, you know, genealogy and documents can really help us to understand, you know, who we are and how we came to be. And so for me, it, you know, like we learn facts in history, like here's some dates, but like dates don't mean anything without context. And so that context has to be yourself. And so for me, I don't think that I could ever see myself outside of this country, really. Like, you know, people say, oh, we came from Africa, you know, we're stolen from Africa. There's all these things that happen. Like, people can talk at you all day, but like, people can't make you understand anything. And so for me, to be able to sit on top of this woman's gravesite from the 1700s, maybe early 1800s, was so transformative. But also, like, it's in New York. Like, I never thought that I was from New York. Like, that was not a part of the story that I heard. And also, too, with, in the documents, everything that I was reading, I noticed that there was a lot of settler narratives, right? The first colonial family of Hyde Park, New York. And the first this and the first that. But not really a lot of mention on the journey from the Netherlands and what that experience may have been like. And I encountered that with other, you know, continuous lines in the pedigree chart. It's like these settler stories, right? Where when you're in Austin, you're like, I'm a fourth generation Texan, right? I've been in Hamilton County, Ohio for 7 generations. You're like, so what about? There's something there. So that was New York. New York continues. Austin, Texas. Fast forward to October, same time of year, end of October, actually first is Scorpio season. That's me sitting on my other great granny's grave in the Raphael Cemetery in Austin, Texas. And so I got a friend that lived in Texas, and he was like, I need a plant sitter. And I was like, bet, I'll go plant sit for a month in Austin while it was cold in Cincinnati. And so I went there, and I knew that I saw Austin in my documents and everything. And, you know, second great grandpa from Alabama was from Austin, Texas prior to going to Alabama. And so there's all these different things because, you know, like, white people move. I didn't know, like, you know, like, people act like they don't, but, like, people do move around and get around. And so I started to learn this through myself. So here's Austin, Texas. Yeah, same here. That's where
Look at that great granny. From 18 what? From 1815. Yes. Me and Nancy. Say hi, Nancy.
My great granny, third, fourth great granny.
Okay. I'm gonna sit here and spend some time with the ancestors, and just like really contemplate. But yeah, you know, like I really have a message that may be edited, but we might be born in one place, but we've been everywhere before we were even born. And I really just want to like physically and like literally show that. So I may have been born in November of 1990, but like I've been in Texas since at least the 1800s. And so have you.
And so Texas, that was really interesting. That was, I think I was like crying.
Welcome to the Lost City. Get ready to believe you're the one who helped.
Yeah, I was crying for like a week. And so, again, I'm still following this same, you know, direct paternal line and seeing these different parts of this family or these families because, you know, once you make yours and you create a different one, that's very clear. And so other things that I was noticing when I was reading about, you know, my Stoutenberg ancestors and some of the others, it would say, you know, the Stoutenberg families, as if like they all weren't one, right? Because like that, so I really started to learn about, you know, the structure of the function of the nuclear family, and, you know, sexism, right? And so another case, so who, you know, Rutgers University, right? Okay, so my 7th grade granny was the sister of the guy who Rutgers is named after, right? And so he got some money from the family for the, you know, from the fur trade, but she didn't, right? And so I'm seeing like all these like white women like marrying down and like not getting the money from the family, and I was like, oh man, like that is crazy. And so like I'm learning this through, you know, through my great grannies. You know, you got Katie Van Beek, she's chilling over here with us too. We can pretend that Sandra Bullock is my great granny. That's her, right? Because we're always with his ancestors. So that was Austin. And so when I got there too, I started processing so much, and I realized that I was grieving. And so prior to moving to Austin, some of these ancestors, right, because this is after going, you know, at least 4 generations back, you have a lot of people. And so I saw that the great granny that I'm sitting on, they came from an area in South Carolina called Dutch Fork. Is anybody familiar with that area in South Carolina? Okay, me either. I want to learn more about it. I want to go someday. But in the Dutch Fork, the people that are living there, the white immigrants, or would-be white immigrants, they were not Dutch, right? So Dutch doesn't mean that, right? They were German, and so they're speaking German, right? And so they're not speaking English. And I was talking to a friend a couple years ago. This is like a little sidetrack, but I was talking to a friend who, he's white. He has German Sasanian heritage. And I was like, you do know that like white people weren't speaking English here, right? This is me, talking about Sasanian. He's like, I never thought about that, right? Because it's like we always see, white people speaking English and like as if it's always been that way, and that white immigrants to this country have always been speaking English, but it hasn't always been that way. And so that was one thing that I noticed, because as I'm in my apartment in Austin, I'm doing more research, doing some digging, and I'm looking into South Carolina stuff. And, oh, you're great. So what I started to feel was a mix between grief and empathy in a way, because like for me, like I'm not white. I can't pass for white. Like nobody would think me that to be that way.